Okay, now that we have sewn the zippers to the middle section, we are ready to sew on the exterior gusset and then ultimately sew the other sides on. But first, we need to take care of the D-rings. Now in the pattern, it calls for cutting out a long strip, ironing the long sides in, wrapping the ends around the D-ring. Oops. And then sewing it down all along here. But I decided for this version I'm doing the alternate version, which is when you just sew a short version of that the other side. All right, now I have my exterior gusset all finished, ready to go. And I'm going to turn this over and you can see what I did. This is the first time I've done this, but I thought it would help for the video. I drew a line across 1/4 inch from the edge and I marked it right in the middle. Because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be sewing across half of the seam, and then we're going to stop our stitch and move our machine and sew across the other half. And the reason why we do it in such an awkward way is because we've got this center part that we don't want to sew over, and 2 gussets here that we're sewing 1 gusset to. So I want to get my piece 1/4 inch from this end. So I'm going to look at the side right here and match this up with where that seam is, and that should be about right. Okay. This is actually really hard for me to see because I'm sewing my hand so much farther forward than normal. So I'm going to try to do it this way, and then if I have to take my stitches out and redo it off camera, I will. Okay. So you have your main body of your bag this way, and you're sewing on this side of the gusset. And I'm going to go forward slowly. Oops, I've got my back stitch on. Okay, forward, back stitch, forward. And the reason why I drew that dot in the middle is that when I get to that dot, I know that or that line, I know that I can back stitch at that point and lift my needle. So this is kind of thick. And I can barely see it. So I reached my middle part, back stitched. Okay, lifted the needle up. All right, now I readjust this so that the body of the purse is in the back. Now I'm gonna do it this way. I put down my needle right here where that mark is. Can't see it too well, but it's right there. And then I'll finish sewing across. Oops. Okay. I'm gonna, oops. Oh, disaster after disaster. Okay, I've got to rethread this. It's very thick right there because of how I did the alternate D-ring method. And my machine, or my needle, went sideways. Let me fix that. All right, I have fixed my needle, and I'm gonna hand feed this because it's thick here. What is this getting caught on? Here I am looking so professional. Done this so many times without problem, but get me in front of a video and suddenly everything goes wrong. Okay. Look, I even have a fold there. I will fix that off camera. Okay, so we sew this side. Then I go over here and sew this side the same way. Needle up, switch the direction, needle up. So I'm going to do that now off camera. Okay, so I sewed on the gusset on the other side, and now I'm going to bend it down. And you want to make sure the inside gusset is open. And I'm going to match these edges up all the way around. So that means I'll match up the center marks. And I'm going to clip it around the edge. I'm only going to do this on one side. There. I'm only going to do this on one side, and I'm going to baste it about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. And then I can put in my interfacing. The interfacing is optional, but I like it better with it. It's just a small strip of Peltex. Peltex is a thin but firm interfacing. Okay, so I'm going to do a basting stitch. And stitch around the outside of this. All right, so I've got one side stitched up. Cut my tails, my thread tails. Okay. Now I'm going to take this long strip of Peltex. I've also used Pellon 926, that works pretty well. And I just kind of put this inside all the way around. There's lots of room. It's only 1 inch wide, and then you've got 2 inches here to work with, so there's definitely enough room for it. Except for I think I cut, this is definitely the long width on accident. Okay. I'm going to go cut the actual piece in a second, but just to show you how this works, put it in there. When I say long width, I meant large. I cut that out from the large pattern piece instead of the small. Now I'm going to match up the edges here all the way around. clip them and then baste around the whole edge there. And then your whole gusset piece will be done. But I'm going to do that off camera so I can make sure I have the correct length of this Peltex, and because my baby just woke up, so I've got to go take care of him. Okay, I got the correct length of interfacing and I put it in, and then I basted the other side. And here I have my exterior gusset all sewn on. Everything is ready to go for the next step, which will be sewing this on to the side pieces. Thank you.